So within the Scott Scheper letter subscribers member area, the membership portal, the membership website, the community website, whatever you want to call it, there was a post recently that, wait 1 second, there's a cop, so I have to hold my phone low as I'm recording this. That's probably I think that's the same cop that pulled me over for my freaking awesome custom license plate that had a carbon fiber background and lime green letters on it. Anyway, I seem to be safe. Anyway, there was a post that went live a few days ago, and maybe I can pull it up and read it to you. Let me just show you what it says. It says, "Not a poll. Let's try this again. Why a yellow legal pad? What's the difference? Why not loose leaf paper? Why not a spiral or bound notebook? Why yellow? Why does it matter? It stops me from editing while writing. How?" So what this subscriber is referring to is something in the previous issue of the Scott Scheper letter, issue number 4, where as one of the 6 parts of the whole anti-net writing process, it revolves around the instruction of use a yellow legal pad to write. And so, one of the main principles in the first issue of the Scott Scheper letter is that of this: the only right answer is test. And so, when I was reading that, I think this subscriber is a well-intentioned individual, and his questions are the right questions for the intellectually curious. It's always to be curious, to ask questions. But in this case, it's not about asking questions. It's about testing. It's about a principle of just doing what Scott says, doing what Scott prescribes, to shut off your mind, shut off your inquisitive mind, and just test. And this echoes the same principle that I actually follow myself. And there's this marketer who I'm in his jockstrap and talking about, and that is Russell Brunson. And he has a saying for his followers. It's, that all of his successful followers, members, they have this mantra. It's do what Russell says. Just shut off your mind, shut off the resistance, do what Russell says, test it. And, I myself, I have a business partner and a strategic marketing advisor who I know, like, and trust and respect. And my saying is, sometimes he'll say stuff and I'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to shut off my mind and do what Sam says, and I'll test it and I'll do it. And, it seems well-intentioned, the voice that comes into your head that questions things, and it's logical, the rational questions. But it also is a basically pernicious, pervasive form of resistance and procrastination and mental masturbation going off in your own mind, that it's preventing you from actually taking action. And so when I saw this comment in this post, I understand this individual, where he's coming from, and my reply was just very basic. It was test and then decide. And that's really what the right answer is. I don't know why yellow seems to work better, and quite frankly, there's probably there's a sentimental factor, the idea factor, the emotional factor of, hey, Jerry Seinfeld used this, many people use this, it's old school, Gary Halbert used the yellow legal pad, and so it acts as a form of dopamine and pride of, hey, I'm going to do it this old school way, right? So the rational reasons, I think, are there, and the rational reasons are kind of masked in the emotional reasons of, it creates one more little piece of momentum and pride in giving yourself some assiduity to sit down and write and do the hard work of writing. And really, though, at this point, it's the lesson is just shut off your mind, shut off your brain, do exactly as I say, and the only right answer is test. try it out, and then from there, after you imitate, you can then get creative. The other saying or concept is first imitate and then innovate. And that's what I do. Like, that's the power of neuro imprinting as well. First imitate and then innovate. Because when you imitate, when you see something, you think your mind thinks it freaking understands it, but it doesn't understand it until you copy and imitate every single detail, because you'll pick up stuff that you don't realize is there. And then second, and most importantly, is you will end up imitating and doing things that are actually completely very, very important to the whole thing working, and you don't realize it yet. Yet, once you start innovating and once performance starts dropping off and once something starts becoming ineffective, then you can then go back and be like, wait, I guess things have dropped off. What could it be? What performance dropped off? What could it be that actually contributed to these really positive results? And what if I add that back in? Will it work? And that's where really learning comes from. That's why it's good to first imitate, do the instructions as prescribed, and then you can innovate and get creative. So anyway, that's my politically correct answer to this individual's question. And that is essentially it, like and I think I even in this thing, in this issue number 4, I even prefaced it saying, just try it. No, don't try a spiral bound notebook. Don't try, just try it. And then after you try it, you can decide. But, this individual maybe didn't read it. Maybe I didn't preface that enough. I think I did preface it enough. Like, if you know me, you know what I prescribe and what I mean and say. And so, on one hand, there is a 20% of me in the background going, literally, are you really going to ask this question? Are you really not going to test? Are you really not going to just test it yourself? Are you going to start to pry and come up with like a scientific curiosity-based answer to, and reasons of trying to understand why something works? Just in this case, just shut up and test. That's it, right? But I understand where this individual is coming from, because that's you want to be 50% of the time, you want to have an inquisitive curiosity-based approach, and the other 50% of the time, you want to just shut off your mind and just freaking test. Just do what Scott says. So that is the lesson here, and just test it. Do what Scott says. If you are a subscriber of issue number 4, literally do what I say. Try and practice and carry out those 6 phases of the anti-net writing process. Imitate. From there, after you do it once, I would recommend it at least, a few times. But after you actually imitate it successfully, then you can innovate. After you write out an entire draft on a, yellow legal pad, then you can start to explore and branch out from there, right, on different types of mediums. But for the time being, just do what Scott says. Test. Peace and love. And stay crispy, my friend.